The biggest lottery jackpot in US history was drawn just 2 years ago, and the man who walked away with the entire $2.04 billion was a Californian named Edwin Castro. Just days before winning, Castro was living in a tiny apartment and working as a mechanic. Now 2 years later, he has probably made every one of his dreams come true. So how does he spend his life now that he's a billionaire? Let's take a look. Winning the jackpot. This jackpot was drawn on November 7, 2022, but no one came forward right away. Days passed, then weeks. There was no winner on camera. People started to wonder if the winner had lost the ticket or if the winner had no idea they had won. It was not until February 14, 2023 that the California Lottery officially announced the winner, Edwin Castro. He was the only person to match all 6 numbers, 10, 33, 41, 47, 56, and the Powerball 10. As soon as Edwin's name was made public, people rushed to find out who he was, but he didn't show up for interviews or talk to the media. Instead, he sent his lawyers to claim the prize for him. The California Lottery confirmed that he chose the lump sum option, which brought the prize down to about $997.6 million before taxes. After federal taxes, which take 37% of large winnings, Edwin walked away with around $628.5 million. Since California does not tax lottery winnings, he kept more of the prize than winners in most other states would. And just like that, Edwin Castro became a very rich and very private man. Edwin studied architecture at Woodbury University, a small private college in Burbank, known for its design and tech programs. Before winning the lottery, no one really knew who he was. He lived a quiet life in a small home in Altadena, not far from where he bought the winning ticket. His background was in design, and from all accounts, he was just living a normal life. So when his name was announced, people were curious. How would someone so private handle a huge pile of money? Reporters followed property records and local tips to track his big purchases. But what surprised people most was not just the homes and luxury cars. It was the fact that right after winning, Edwin ended up in the middle of a legal fight. Someone claimed that the winning ticket didn't belong to him at all. We'll come back to that part of the story in a minute. But first, let's talk about someone else who got a piece of the prize. Joe's Service Center, the gas station where Edwin bought the ticket, also got a reward. The store's owner received a $1 million bonus from the state just for selling the winning ticket. Now, back to Castro. Becoming a billionaire overnight did not mean all of his problems disappeared. In fact, not long after the win, Edwin was caught in a legal mess. Someone claimed the winning ticket was not his at all. The controversy. A man named Jose Rivera said the winning ticket belonged to him. He said he bought it, lost it, and someone stole it, and that someone, somehow, was Edwin Castro. Rivera filed a lawsuit claiming that the ticket was taken away from him by a guy named Reggie, who apparently told him it was not a winning ticket at all. Rivera said he watched the draw the next night, saw the numbers match, and realized he had just been robbed of billions. Now, Rivera claimed he reported the issue to the California State Lottery, but they told him that unless he walked in with the actual ticket, they could not help him, and they were right to tell him that. In California, the person holding the winning ticket is seen as the official winner. No ticket, no payout. That's the rule. While Rivera was filing complaints and starting legal action, Edwin was staying quiet, at least publicly. But his legal team did respond. They said the whole case was nonsense. Edwin had bought the ticket himself, they had video proof from the store, and there was no link between him and Rivera. In fact, the judge eventually agreed. First, all claims against the state lottery were dismissed. Then, when Rivera failed to respond to a court motion, the case against Edwin was dropped too. That should have been the end of it. But Rivera did not exactly go quietly. At a court hearing, he got upset, fired his lawyer, and even told the judge to just take him into custody. Things escalated so fast that the judge had to pause everything and move the case to a mental health court. Rivera was later charged with filing a false police report, which in California could lead to fines or even jail time. At the same time this drama played out, Edwin was living the kind of life people imagine after a lottery win. So how did his life change after becoming a billionaire? Life after becoming a billionaire. After walking away with over $600 million in cash, Edwin Castro jumped headfirst into a wealthy lifestyle. And who could blame him? He used to live in a one-bedroom home in Altadena, so he wasted no time getting out of there. As soon as he got the cash, he went on a real estate spree. His first major buy was a $25.5 million mansion in the Hollywood Hills. If you're wondering what a house like that includes, the answer is everything. This place is nearly 14,000 square feet and sits on a hillside with sweeping stunning views of Los Angeles. It has 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a movie theater, a wine cellar, a gym, a game room, and a spa. The entire front of the house is covered in floor-to-ceiling glass, and there's an infinity-edge pool just in case you forget how rich you are. And that garage holds 7 cars. Edwin clearly had a plan. The home was once known as Palazzo di Vista, and it was designed to impress anyone who sets eyes on it. His neighbors now include some very familiar faces, including Jimmy Kimmel, Ariana Grande, and Dakota Johnson. So Edwin went from being totally unknown to suddenly living among A-list celebrities. Quiet guy or not, that's a big lifestyle jump. But that was not the only thing he spent his money on. Just days after that first mansion, he bought a second home, this one back in Altadena, not far from the gas station where he bought the winning ticket. That house cost $4 million. It is a Japanese-inspired property with 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and views of the San Gabriel Mountains. It also has its own theater, pool, and garden areas that feel more like a spa retreat. He reportedly bought it for his parents, which is sweet. He clearly did not forget where he came from, and it seems he wanted them to be nearby and comfortable. A few months later, news broke that Edwin had picked up a third property, a $47 million mega mansion in Bel Air. This place is on another level. 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a koi pond, DJ turntables, a champagne room, a glass bridge, and another home theater. There is also a massive pool with a panoramic view of Los Angeles. It's the kind of house where nothing is basic. Even the closets are huge, and each room has a sitting area. It's unclear whether Edwin lives there or not, and some sources say the property is under a different name, but the purchase caught everyone's attention. By now, his real estate portfolio alone had made headlines across the country, but that was just the beginning. He also started collecting cars, and expensive ones. One of the first was a vintage white Porsche 911, worth about $250,000. A beautiful car, and according to those who have seen it, it looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. He has been spotted in it more than once, and it seems to be his favorite. Then he was seen checking out a $1.6 million Mercedes-Benz Gullwing at a luxury car show in LA. Whether he bought it or not is still a mystery, but standing next to it, with his security team behind him, he looked every bit like someone who could buy it without blinking. And speaking of security, yes, Edwin now has a full-time private security team, bodyguards, drivers, people who keep him safe and manage his movements. It might sound extreme, but when you're one of the most recognizable lottery winners in the world, it is probably necessary. He does not talk to the press, rarely appears in public, and is known to avoid attention. But when he does step out, he is protected. That includes his homes too, which are now fully equipped with surveillance systems and privacy features. He's not taking chances. Now you would expect someone with this kind of money to hire a stylist, refresh their wardrobe, and start showing up in designer clothes, right? Well, not Edwin. If anything, his style has stayed exactly the same. He's still wearing casual jeans, hoodies, button-downs, and the occasional t-shirt. There's something kind of funny about seeing someone step out of a multi-million-dollar mansion, puffing on a vape in an outfit that looks like they picked it up off the floor. Well, if it works, it works. His hair is usually tied up in a man bun, and there is zero sign he's trying to dress to impress. Maybe that's the point. As for the people around him, that's changed too. After months of staying quiet, Edwin was spotted with a new girlfriend, a model named Peyton Vincent. She's younger than him, used to work as a barista and bank teller in Maine, and now lives in LA. Their relationship was introduced on Instagram after they appeared in a few soft posts, and paparazzi later caught them having sushi in West Hollywood. He drives her around in one of his luxury cars, and the two have been seen giggling together, looking pretty relaxed about the whole being extremely rich thing. They're not the only ones in his new circle. He has hired a PR manager, Terry Fawn, who is a media rep who has worked with celebrities and high-profile athletes. It makes sense. Edwin may not want to do interviews, but that does not mean he's not managing his public image. He has also brought in a lawyer, a financial advisor, and his brother Jesse, who has a background in banking, to help manage the business side of things. In short, he built a team, quietly but efficiently. And when he's not buying property or adding to his car collection, he's traveling. One of his first getaways after claiming the prize was to Fiji, where he and a small group of friends rented out part of a floating bar called Cloud 9. It's a 2 two-story bar in the middle of the ocean that can only be reached by boat. There were coconuts, snorkeling, and lots of sun, and probably not a single thought about budgeting. Of course, all this spending has not gone unnoticed. Financial advisors have been very vocal in the media, warning him and other big winners that 70% of lottery winners go broke within a few years. They advise against big purchases, urge people to stay grounded, and recommend investing slowly. Edwin seems to have ignored some of that advice, but people close to him say he's more careful than he looks. Everything he has bought so far, including houses, cars, travel, he could afford 10 times over. He's not in debt or betting it all on a startup. He's just living large. Still, there has been some judgment. Articles calling his homes bad investments, blogs questioning his spending habits, and finance experts wondering how long the money will last. But it is hard to deny that Edwin Castro is doing things his way, just quietly and confidently upgrading every part of his life. Even with all the headlines, though, he has stayed out of the spotlight. He does not do interviews. He has not given statements. He does not attend events or show up at red carpets. While the world talks about his purchases, Edwin himself says nothing. Maybe he's too busy enjoying what he has, or maybe he's just not interested in the fame that came with it. 2 years after winning, Edwin's name is still trending. His homes are still making headlines, and his low-key style, vintage car collection, and massive real estate buys are still sparking debate online. But for someone who could have lost himself in the chaos of fame and money, he seems strangely at ease in his simple clothes. If you want a chance to live like Edwin Castro, watch our next video. We have shared all the tips and tricks you need to win the next jackpot. Watch now and try your luck.